Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we will talk about Rome again, because who thought that globalism is a modern thing? Well, this is a mistake, because the Romans were already quite globalist. Why could we say that? Well, if we look at the middle time of the Roman Empire and the late time of the Roman Empire, exactly there we can actually have already like Indian spices in Rome. Yes, that's possible through trading. Rome was basically the center of the Roman Empire, which we can easily imagine. The Roman Empire is the biggest empire at that time, was really remarkable, and it was quite big. That's also why we see many different cultures, etc. in Rome, which leads, for example, to the import of wild animals of Africa. We see lions in Rome, elephants in Rome, all animals that are usually not in Italy. The city of Rome attracted many people from different parts of the world, really, from Britain, from Africa, from Asia. Even people came in to visit Rome. Or better, traveling was not that much a thing in Rome, but more like merchants came in and sold their goods in Rome. And Romans really tried to profit through that, like businessmen sent ships, for example, to India to bring spices from there to Rome, because they can sell them there for very high prices. Especially, for example, pepper was very expensive in Rome, but it was there. And that's the thing, it is, for me, the first real globalist empire in the world. Some say actually that also the empire of Alexander the Great was already globalist, but this one lasted very short. So yeah, you were from Macedon and Greece, it spread all the way to India, which is huge, over Egypt, etc. But it never really lasted long enough to implement like a globalist system, like, for example, the Roman Empire. Well, if we talk about globalist system, we can't talk about North America, South America, Australia, etc. Like, obviously for ancient people in Europe, they didn't know all of that existed. So that's not the thing. It's more about like Europe itself and Asia maybe as well. So in Rome you could get stuff from basically everywhere over the known world. And this is actually quite remarkable, because if you live in a little village, for example in Britannia, you can't get stuff from India or anything if not a real businessman comes over and sells you these goods, which is very rare and also only possible in the Roman Empire. Since it did happen, it did occur, but it was very rare that actually businessmen from Rome went to Britannia before the actual invasion of Britannia. So they could, in the theory, have stuff like this, but it was pretty dangerous for those businessmen to actually enter Britannia. However, what did the Roman globalist system really do? Well, it made Rome great, because in Rome you could have everything. You kind of lived like today. You can order something from, for example, if you live in Rome today, you can order something from the UK, you can order something from India, you can order something from China and get the goods. Maybe not as fast as today, but you still were able to get those goods, which was crazy for the ancient times, really, because mostly ancient people lived in their village or in the city for their whole life. It was rare that people really came across other countries, other kingdoms, and see really the world. It was really rare. But in Rome it was possible to get stuff from everywhere, exotic things. And while this was really good for commercial things, for wealth of the people, etc., it was bad for the economy. And it was bad for the animals. Because for the arenas, there was a real we want lions there. And not every lion survived like the shipment from Africa to Rome. So many died actually in that. And that's why more and more get hunted, and that's why fewer and fewer and fewer lions actually lived in Africa. And in some areas they died out. Or some, for example, herbs doesn't exist today anymore because the Romans really overused them. They were like, yeah, give me everything of that. And that's actually quite something that we really often see in globalist systems like today. We overuse things because we can have them everywhere. We want them everywhere, and that's why we need way more than the restricted area where these things are natural, common, actually can provide for us, you know. So I see that a huge problem because we can't have everything everywhere. And this was also in ancient times a real problem. That's why many animals died out. Some herbs died out. Many flowers died out because of the Romans, because they overused them. And this was only the Roman Empire. Really in the medieval times it kind of replenished itself because this global system kind of died down a little bit. It was still there, you know, you could still have traders from India, etc. But it was not as in the Roman Empire. In the Roman Empire this was crazy. It was really crazy. Especially if you really think of it, I think 1 in 4 lions actually only survived getting to Rome and only to get killed there as well. So you have many animals actually dying there just in the ships, etc. And still it's a profitable business for businessmen. So this whole globalist system is actually a huge problem for the environment if we look at it, because we overuse things through this global system. And this is what happens today as well. And this is also what happened in the Roman Empire. So we can't really say we don't know what could happen, because we can see it historically in the Roman Empire, that this whole thing will cause great trouble for the environment, even though it's great for us. We live wealthy because of that, more commerce, etc. It is good for the wealth of the people. Well, in the first world countries it is. In the third world countries it is not that good for the people. But this is a whole different debate. We could dive much deeper into that, but that's not history anymore, and I want to talk about history on that channel. So we see that. I just want to show you that there are quite similarities between the Roman globalist system and the global system we have today. But one of the main things actually the Romans destroyed were forests. They needed so much firewood for wood for building as well, etc. They needed so much that they chopped forests down everywhere. They were like us today in the Amazonas, really. And this was actually really bad for the environment. And people noticed that, that whole forests just disappeared because the Romans were there and they were chopping the trees all the time. And this was a huge problem. So for the environment it was kind of actually good that the Roman system died out, because they really overused the resources. Therefore they had luxury and wealth, and we are quite similar today, aren't we? But well, that's another topic for another time. So I hope you could learn something. I hope you could enjoy the video. If you have any advices, let me know. And yeah, I see you in the next one. Bye for now.